Hey everyone, and welcome back to Shades of Sasha. If you're new here, take a seat, put your crown on, and welcome to the gang. And if you're ready for the gang, you already know what time it is. What's good, baby? So today's video, we're gonna go from this to this. So the first part of this process is prepping your skin, just to give you a better insight of like my skin type. I am a oily combination. In the summer I'm more oily than I am in the winter. In the winter I tend to be a combination of just like really oily in my T-zone, but then dry in like certain areas. So I'm going in with two different primers. I'm using the Fenty Beauty, and then I'm using the e.l.f. Putty Primer, which is the dupe to the Hydro Milk Primer. Excuse how I kind of sound. I am sick, but the work must go on. So pretty much after this part is done, the next step I'm going to go in with is color correcting, and I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in orange, and then I'm going to blend this out. You can skip this step if you don't really have hyperpigmentation, or you don't have kind of like dark circles or spots that you would like to hide, but for this one specifically, there are a lot of things I like to cover up, so that's what I'm gonna do. Throughout the process of telling you how I'm actually going to achieve this look, I am also going to give like my feedback and my thoughts on some of the products that I did use, because I wanted to use majority of the products needed to be black owned, and I wanted to test out some new things to just kind of give y'all a better insight of someone else that has a different perspective, since everybody's always raving about certain things. But if you're not new to my channel, you know that I'm kind of really critical when it comes to the things that people spend their money on, because especially in this economy, I think it's important for us to do that and stop just hyping up everything. Like, not everything is the best thing since sliced bread, and that's what you're just gonna get here. So after I pretty much buff all of these things out, please make sure you take your time and do this, because I'm telling you, if you don't, it's just gonna be a waste of time that you even did this process. I'm kind of skipping over how I did my brows, because I think I still have a tutorial on like how I did my brows, but honestly, just do with your makeup as you would like. Trust me, just trust the process. It is about being creative and just enjoying what you are doing. I'm not going to ever be overcritical of someone in the way how they're achieving or doing something that makes them look or feel good. So that's that. The next step you're going to do after you do this part, the carving out your brows and the primer that you use will be very, very, very important. Now, a lot of the products I'm going to be using is going to feature Juvia's Place. I do have the Juvia's Place eye primer, but I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I don't like it. I think it's watery as hell. I think that it's runny. I just don't think it does a good job, and I really do prefer the P. Louise primer. So that's what I'm going to use on my eyelids when it comes to the eyeshadow. But this is a Juvia's Place in shade 12, I think it said, where I'm just carving out my brows and just bringing some of that down as a concealer. However, I will be using the P. Louise base when it comes to my eyeshadow primer. Just gonna put that out there. I just can't let it go. Like, I'm hooked on it like phonics, and listen, it is what it is. So pretty much after you do this part, like I said, make sure you go in and you put on a primer for your eyeshadow, one that's very tacky or sticky, and it's gonna really get the job done, and it's gonna make sure that all of the eyeshadows will just stay in place. And today we'll be doing a smoky eye. I'm not really the biggest fan of a smoky eye. However, there are just sometimes I feel like a smoky eye really, really slaps, and I really wanted to just do something that was way out of my comfort zone, that was gonna be sexy and just like doing everything. So this is me just shaking up my primer and just putting it on my eyelids, and this one is the color 0, I believe. Like, it's just their white base one that they have, and you're gonna take your time and just make sure that you're buffing it out. I'm using a Morphe brush. I don't remember which one this is, but I know like I've had this brush, I want to say, for about 2 years now. Like, it's
she just still doing her damn thing. So at this point, you could decide if you want to fan out your shadow just like how I'm doing, or if you want to do it more oval to your eyes. And I'm gonna go in with the crayon case, and as you can see, like, I really do use this palette, especially when it comes to me using my palette for creative looks. This is one that I use. So I'm going with the brown color that they have to just not make my eyes look really dark, because whenever you're doing a smoky eye, it is going to be dark. So you want to make sure that you have something that's a really transitional shade for you. So I'm just using those 4 colors, the 2 browns on the side, the black, and then the silver, to give me that cut crease. So I'm just going in, brushing everything in, just making sure like the hue of it is gonna match and give me the same vibrant color that I want, that I actually did get in the finished look, but something that doesn't just feel like a harsh black on my skin and then there's just nothing else. So after you pretty much do this part, you're gonna go in with the darker brown and then the black. So it's the light brown, dark brown, and then the black. And take your time and spread the black out, because if there's one thing that this eyeshadow palette does, is that it is very pigmented. So it's going to give you the damn thing. Like, the shadows here are really good. I really prefer this palette for my creative looks because I can also use it on my body. So I don't really have anything negative to say. I think if you're a creative look type of person, this is the palette that I would use, but I also do have something that's a different recommendation. However, I just really want to highlight certain black brands that are out there for people to support. So this one is a crayon case and it's very affordable, so I'm just going ahead and buffing out the shadow. You can also find the palette that's in Walmart, and no, it is not sponsored. I'm just letting y'all know because I actually really do use this palette, especially for all of my creative looks. So after I pretty much go ahead and do that part, the next step, which is optional, you don't have to do this, but I go ahead and I cut my crease, and I pretty much put the P. Louise canvas, blank canvas, on my lid, and I look up because I do have hooded eyes, to just try and make sure that I'm going above that hood so that my eyelid, like the shadow, will actually not just get hidden with my eyelids, but it would actually show. And so that's what Jasmine me doing here, just like playing around trying to figure out like, okay, I just need you to go up to show me where the end is so that I can do this. And surprisingly, the amount of times I do my eyeshadow, you would think by now I would just know where to go, but I just still always do this process because I'd rather be safe than sorry. So while I'm doing this, because of how pigmented the eyeshadow palette that I'm using actually is, I'm not taking a lot of the product. I'm just carving out what it is that I need to do. With this smoky eye, I don't think I have to be as precise as possible, especially because I know some people like to remove the shadow and clean up before they go in and actually cut their crease. However, because of the look I'm going for, I know it was going to stand out, so I just skipped that step and I didn't do it. So this is me adding the silver to the eyelid, and then I'm gonna go back in again and kind of play around to figure out like, what am I missing? Do I want to do a more transitional shade where I'm just adding some of the browns and the black in so that everything kind of come together? At this point, anytime I do my eyeshadows, I'm always very kind of like going with the flow, like really looking to find what it is that is gonna match my aesthetic of how I like to do my makeup and how it makes me feel good. So if there's any parts of my process that you don't like, just feel free to skip it. You don't have to do it. I want you to do something that you're gonna just do and love and enjoy. I'm just going in with a smaller brush just to make sure that things are clean and just as precise as possible. This is another step I am gonna do that I can say as well you can skip. So I'm gonna go in with a liner after I finish this, and I'm actually going to line my lids, just because there's sometimes I think some looks it just requires for me to do it, like it just stands out a little bit more, and I'm not as precise with liners as people think. Like sometimes it does take me like 10 different tries or whatever, and I get ultra focused because I'm just like, if you mess up on one thing, it's just gonna piss me off and it's gonna like throw everything off of me. So I actually got this one in a couple tries to be like, yeah, this is it. And so when it comes to my eyelids, if you have lids that are closer to mine, I actually do not like lining my bottom lids. However, I have been getting into it more because for some reason, whenever it starts to extend, it just starts messing that joint up and it pisses me off. So I just went ahead and popped on these lashes that are from Juvia's Place as well, and I'm going to underpaint to do my makeup, and I'm using the Juvia's Place dark concealer. I really don't remember what shade this is, but I've had this product, I want to say, for about 2 years, and to be very honest, I'm just not that big of a fan of the Juvia's Place concealers and stuff. Like, I know like there's a rave for it from people, but for my skin type specifically, I just feel like they end up making me almost too oily, and I really love a matte look. So because I'm underpainting and I want things to come out as crisp as possible, where I just really have a full face, this is what I'm doing here, where I'm going in now with a concealer shade that's closer, like 2 shades higher than like my actual complexion, and just making sure like I carve everything out. And then I'm gonna go ahead with their new foundation, which I will also give my thoughts on as well. So after you pretty much blend everything out, and I would just recommend that when you're doing it, you're just stamping the product in. Don't try and like move and buff things away, because you're just going to end up removing the product that you actually want to use. So just go ahead and make sure that you're stamping everything in. One step I also do with my face every month is I actually do shave my face. I do have PCOS, so I also like wax under my chin and my above my lip as well. So that's just something that I like to make sure people know, that that's an additional step that I do take in my kind of face routine and skin routine. I didn't do it yet at this point, so I'm just showing you what my face is, my makeup would look like in the damn yeah, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm showing you what it looks like when I actually don't do that step. So this is the new foundation that they have. Like I said, wasn't really a fan. I don't think I said it. I think I just ruined it. I'm not really that much of a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I actually did went and return it because it just wasn't doing it for me. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know, man. It just wasn't it. Like, I can't really get behind it. So I'm just blending out my concealer, and then in between my contour, that is what you see as the foundation and how kind of like orange it is. A tip to tell you, if you have a really orange makeup and foundation, if you use a blue pigment that they usually sell at, I want to say it's either NYX or Elf or LA Girl, I can't really remember which one specifically sell it. If you use it, it actually neutralizes the foundation and it doesn't make it as orange as like it's showing up right here. So I'm just going ahead and doing all of those different things to just kind of like blend everything in together, so it seems like one while everything else has dimension as well. And right here is what I'm saying, where I kind of always feel that like I look oily, because I feel like it's oily on my skin. And when you are a person with a combination skin or an oily girl, the least thing you want to do is actually feel oily. Like, you just don't want to feel the oil, because it's gonna just mess up your makeup, it's gonna make it run, it's gonna just like do a lot. And then this is a powder foundation that they have. Anytime I use liquid products, I always go over these things with powders to just make sure that I'm cleaning things up. And that's what you see me doing here. All of the places that I use that specific color, I'm just going in now with a powder just to make sure that I'm adding that powder and it's doing its job to like mattify it. And then this thing right here though, if you get anything, this right here is a Juvia's Place bronze in dark. There's another one that they have, and every time I win the Ulta, it's always sold out. But I love this thing. Like, this specific product, I picked this up before they dropped all the other remaining parts of the collection and everyone was going crazy for it. This is just like, if you're a black girl, it's so essential to have it inside of your kit. So this is something that I definitely do love and recommend from their product. I'm then going in, like I said, without all of the powder, with all of the powder things that I have, just to mattify things up a little bit. I actually use a combination of the One Size and the Huda Beauty translucent powder to kind of mattify my face. I really think that it does a very good job, and I'm just going ahead and just buffing out all of the concealer that I have on my face. Make sure that you're taking your time while doing these things. I know that I'm moving really fast, so it seems like I'm rushing, but I'm actually not. I actually take a lot of time to just make sure I do it right the first time, so I don't go ahead and have to like correct as I go. And then this is the contortion notebook from the crayon case as well. This is also something I really love. They have different shade ranges of what you can do when it comes to like highlighting and contouring as a powder, and I really do love that this is a thing. I don't remember what concealer this was that I put on top, but what I like to tell people is if you're going to highlight and contour, allow your products to dry down. The better that they're dried down, not to the point where it's like you can't blend or do anything, but you don't want to put it on and then just go ahead and rubbing everything in. So right here I'm using a contortion notebook just to go on top, and everything is kind of really coming through the way that I really wanted to and needed to, and I'm just like going over with the combination of the one size and the Huda Beauty as well, just to make sure that it's hitting my face the exact way that I wanted to, and everything is just gonna be as mattified as possible. And then we're gonna actually just like go ahead and focus on the lips. I kind of just like play around a lot to figure out like, will this work, will this not work? And when I'm blending all of these things out, I'm actually going over with my Morphe powder that I use as a face powder to just like blend everything out. If you can't already tell, I really do love a matte face. Like, something about it will just always be the thing for me. Like, I just do not like a dewy look. I've tried it multiple times, and I actually just always feel like I end up hating my makeup, and I don't feel like I spent all of this money to do something that I hate and that my skin just feels like it's like, ugh, what is going on? And I know people have asked many times for me to do a dewy look, and that is exactly why I just curve it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's just not the thing for me. It just feels icky on my skin, and it just ain't it. So we're gonna go ahead and basically use a smaller brush just to do the under eye, to like blend that black in, so that it can also you're gonna blend in the black and then the silver to just make it as seamless as possible and just look like one. And then after I spray my face and do all of these different things, this is the MAC Fix Plus. Yeah, so their setting spray. I also think that one's kind of mid. It's okay. And then I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want to do my red. But one of the things that I usually do when it comes to red lipsticks, because sometimes it just be a trial and error, right? Like, it just don't be working. I have perfected the way I like it, and the way I like my red lips to look is by actually using a black liner, blending everything out, and then going in with a red lipstick. I feel like it is the most flattering on my skin, and I feel like it just comes together the best way that I wanted to. This is me just adding some of like my molds and things that are on my face back, because actually when I put on a lot of makeup, it sometimes just kind of like removes all of those different things that I have, and I actually do love all of the quote-unquote imperfections on my face. So after I've went and kind of lined my lips with the black, I'm gonna go in with this Fenty Stunner. No, this one is the uncensored. So I'm gonna put it on my lips, and then I'm going to then add the MAC Ruby Woo. So if you don't got that MAC Ruby Woo or this one, you're just missing out. And I'm telling you, just add both of them together and it's a freaking game changer. So this is pretty much the red look, or well, the red lip that I usually go for, and I use the same brush that I had under my eye. I use that same black to just kind of like clean everything out and make it more blendable, that it just doesn't lose the texture and dimension that is already there, because I want it to just be pronounced. And I just go over my upper lip just to like perfect exactly how I want my lips to look. But this is how it looks in the end. I really do hope y'all enjoy, and let me know if y'all try it, and if you do something else that you think like, oh Sasha, you could have did this too, like just go ahead and let me know. But like I said, makeup's supposed to be fun, so if there's something that I do that you just don't like, just don't do it. But thank y'all so much for watching and supporting your girl.